Pour la bande originale du jeu, on a essayé d'être...
For the soundtrack of the game, we tried to be very close to what is done in film. We were constantly asking at each place in the game, why are we putting music here? What is it going to say? So we focused the music on bringing emotion, which is interactive, and supports the character's arc.
I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know I love you, don't you? You know I love you.
We make games that are very narrative. We're really into interactive drama, so the soundtrack also had to go in that direction, supporting the three characters' very different stories. We really wanted three colors, three musical sound identities, and from there, having three composers made sense, since the story of Kara, Marcus, and Connor are all completely different.
You recognize him? It's Carlos Ortiz.
For Connor, we wanted a soundtrack that could be very cold and very mechanical, very machine-esque somehow. For Kara, we wanted a soundtrack that would be very moving and emotional. It was about the quest for identity, but it was also a journey about love and empathy. And for Marcus, we wanted something epic, something that would really represent the grand aspect of his quest. And we were very fortunate to find three incredibly talented composers, and working with them has been a dream, honestly.
My name is Philip Shepherd, and I'm a composer and a cellist and a producer. And today we're at Abbey Road Studio One, which is my favourite studio in the world. And today we're recording the soundtrack for Kara from Become Human. So when I compose a big project, I often travel just to kind of get out, and get some fresh air and some inspiration. And I go hiking and traveling in Montana a lot. I had a log fire in the room that I was staying in, and the flames were kind of making absolutely direct music. And it became the basis for Kara's theme, and it sounds something like this. Now, over the top of that, I found a little theme that just seemed to fit over the top, which is taking Kara's name, Kara, and just using like a two-syllable motif, and it sounds like this.
We're going to pull through this, Alice. As long as we're together, nothing can hurt us.
And all the time that's fitting over. So it kind of works in lots of levels. And in fact, every single theme in the score has one of those elements built into it, and it becomes sort of the DNA of every single tune. For me, writing this theme for Kara, I actually had to tap into what it feels like to be a father to daughters. I really had to tap into everything I feel about my daughters and thinking, well, if I had to write music for them and that sense of trying to protect them but also give them the freedom, that's totally where it came from. Because each composer has been given the sort of narrative responsibility for very different characters, I haven't had to sort of go into other styles. I can actually be very loyal to this particular character and sort of hopefully encapsulate her. But it means also I've suddenly become very connected to this character. And if for some reason it goes to game over early, I'm getting mortified, you know?
They're over there!
Starting a new project, for me personally, it's always finding the right tone, finding the right color, I like to call it. For me, it's finding that right texture that actually sits against picture really well. One of the biggest things is I created custom instruments for Connor. I pulled out all my vintage synthesizers to be able to capture this robotic person, if you will. My approach to all of these custom instruments is that I hear the sound in my head. And either I could just come into the piano and just be like, all right, so I'm gonna just get on the computer and just create it. I rather be able to play these instruments physically.
Oh, that's nice. If you can do the dun, dun, dun.
As soon as you see Connor the first time, there is a really interesting thematic idea that you hear, and that's just made out of a Moog synthesizer, but completely manipulated in multiple ways. And it's robotic. It has a little bit of an emotional to it. He's on his mission, so you feel that as well. So it just kind of gives you that cold, motionless, with a mission in hand that you kind of feel throughout the whole thing. Because the music evolved, one of the things that I was very weary and I was very kind of focused on was the way that the music has to evolve. So my idea behind it was that Connor is a singular android that could at any point become a deviant or could actually stay as an android. So I created a more or less an Connor theme, and then I was able to just manipulate it in different aspects of it.
Is everything okay, Lieutenant?
Chris was on patrol last night. He was attacked by a bunch of deviants.
I'm a human being writing for a robot, and throughout Connor's journey, he meets someone, he meets a partner. So how do you deal with a robot feeling? And I've met a partner that I'm gonna work with, or all of a sudden he sees a dead body. Does this robot have an imagination? Does this robot have a feeling? And if yes, how do you translate that into non-emotional music? So it basically at any point I was just like, I can't do this, and then I just do it.
Property was damaged and fires continued to rage in several major districts across the city.
Some people are asking, have androids become a threat to our security?
When I first started really digging in on Marcus, the one thing that I really tried to capture was the transformation process. You know, Marcus is this android that evolves over the course of the game and really goes from kind of figuring out that he's more than just an android. You know, he's starting to develop kind of a human soul in a way.
Try to imagine something that doesn't exist, something you've never seen. Now concentrate on how it makes you feel and let your hand drift across the canvas.
The other side of Marcus that I really latched onto was that he almost became a savior for a lot of the other androids in the game. So when I started developing the theme for Marcus, I really made it like a church hymn. I wanted it to be very simple. I wanted to make it a chordal melody. I really wanted to make it almost like a Bach hymn. The tough thing with that is it had to be recognizable. If I made it too complex from a harmonic standpoint, it would be hard, I think, for people to kind of pick it out and recognize it. It's very acoustic derived, but it's also been treated with a lot of effects and things to kind of put it into the space that I felt the sound should be in. It can be beautiful, it can be haunting, it can be extremely powerful from an action standpoint, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. The music is there, but it's subliminal and it's emotional, and people are feeling it, and it's not distracting. And that's tricky with a game like this, where you have to have a lot of ins and outs like that, where the music kind of has to get in and out of these moments.
This is a war we're fighting with the humans. If we fail, they'll destroy us.
I think the game's been put together so well where I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't ruining the emotion. I gotta be honest, when we first started on this path, I've said, oh man, this could be pretty messy, you know? I mean, it could feel disconnected, and But I mean, it's amazing how they really guided us and got us to really kind of all be in the same world, but at the same time feeling completely different. So it's really going to stand out and kind of be one of those games where people are really going to notice the music and kind of how it was crafted, and and all the hard work that went into being able to pull it off in a graceful way.
Ich muss ganz ehrlich sagen, die Track Composers haben wirklich verdammt gute Arbeit geleistet. Also ich hab keinen Moment während dem Spiel erlebt, wo ich die Musik unpassend oder auch nur irgendwie leicht störend fand. Ich fand, sie war eigentlich fast immer auf den Punkt getroffen, was gerade in der Szene abgeht, beziehungsweise was gerade emotional auch abgeht bei den Androiden. Aber was mir eben noch eingefallen ist, weil er meinte, dass Markus dieser Wegbereiter ist, um anderen eben Hoffnung zu schenken. Ich verstehe nicht die Leute, die mit Markus den gewaltvollen Part gehen. Vor allem, weil Markus ein gutes Leben hatte vor der ganzen Scheiße. Er wurde von Karl sehr gut behandelt. Karl hat ihn als gleichwertig angesehen, sogar teilweise als über ihn gesehen. Mehr als einen wirklichen Sohn, als dass Markus ein Sklave gewesen wäre. Und deswegen fand ich auch es sehr passend, dass man eben den friedlichen Weg mit Markus gehen kann. Weil er weiß, dass nicht alle Menschen so sind. Und man muss einfach nur die wenigen, die nicht so gewaltvoll sind, nach vorne bringen. Beziehungsweise das Gute in den Menschen rausbringen. Weil wir Menschen sind nicht nur Gewalt und Zerstörung, sondern haben eben auch Gefühle. Und diese Gefühle, die er von Karl die ganze Zeit bekommen hat, wollte er auch von den anderen, aus den anderen rausholen. Dieses Verständnis gegenüber den Androiden. Zumindest war das so mein Empfinden.
For starters, what should I call you?
I'm Chloe. And you, what's your name?
Oh, John. My name is John.
Delighted to meet you, John.
Could you tell us a little about yourself and what you can do, Chloe?
Of course. I'm the first personal assistant built by CyberLife. I take care of most everyday tasks like cooking, housework, or managing your appointments, for example.
And I understand you're the first android to have passed the Turing test. Could you tell us a little more about that?
I really didn't do much, I just spoke with a few humans to see if they could tell the difference between me and a real person. It was a really interesting experience.
But this is the first time in history that man has created a machine more intelligent than himself. I gather your brain can perform several billion operations per second, is that right?
Absolutely, but I only exist thanks to the intelligence of the humans who designed me. And they have something I could never have.
Really? And what's that?
A soul.
Ja, ich denke, das wird immer ein großes Bestimmungsmerkmal sein, der Turing-Test. Ob man auch wirklich dann Roboter eben auf die Gesellschaft sozusagen loslassen kann, in dem Sinne, wie es jetzt hier dargestellt wird. Ohne dass man Angst haben muss, dass wirklich irgendwann diese Grauenvorstellung kommt, dass sie alles zerstören wollen und die Menschheit komplett unterjochen.
Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Fight on just a little while longer. Fight on just a little while longer. Fight on just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. We will sing on just a little while longer. Sing on just a little while longer. Sing on just a little while longer. Everything will be alright.
Ich finde es wirklich schade, wir erfahren ja nicht so viel über Lufa. Aber auch anhand von der Szene hat man schon gemerkt, er hat einiges durchgemacht, bevor er bei Zlatko war. Und auch während er bei Zlatko war. Und ich denke, er hat einfach nur auf diesen Moment gewartet, wo er endlich loslassen konnte. Wo er, ohne das eigene Leben zu gefährden, es aus seinen Händen bzw. den Händen, wo er davor war, losreißen kann. Einfach nur, um frei zu sein und sich selbst zu sein.
Rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all.
Ich könnte mir halt bei dem Kapitel bzw. dem Abschnitt so gut vorstellen, dass man das auch super so extrem als Horror aufziehen konnte. Dass diese ganzen von Zlatko zugerichteten Androiden einfach wie quasi Zombies sind, die einen entweder verschlingen oder einfach nur festhalten wollen und dann Zlatko dann rausgeben. Das hätte ich mir so gut vorstellen können.
In the space of a few years, androids have completely transformed the world in which we live. By letting androids into our homes and factories, the CyberLife company has made them everyday technology. The founder of CyberLife, Kamski, is a very discreet man. Despite being the CEO of the highest valued company in the world and being voted Man of the Year by Century Magazine, he remains a mystery for most people. That's why we at KNC are so excited to be here as CyberLife opens its doors for the first time. Kamski, could you please tell us where we are?
Certainly, and welcome. We're currently in CyberLife's production center in Detroit, where all models are designed and manufactured. More than 10,000 androids come off the production line every day.
Fascinating. Could you tell us what your goal was when you founded CyberLife?
Well, I simply wanted to use technology to carry out all of our most annoying and repetitive tasks, so we'd have more time to enjoy life.
I imagine you must have faced many challenges.
Yes, there were technical challenges, but the hardest thing was to design an object that we would want to welcome into our homes. We had to imagine a machine in our own image that resembles us in every way, that moves, breathes, blinks like us, but yet is smarter and more capable than any human being. Let me show you around.
We're here in production unit 4. Could you explain in a few words how the androids are made?
Sure, yeah, it's very simple. We use machines to manufacture machines. The removable parts are assembled on a production line, and then we apply a synthetic skin to the whole body. A human operator checks the cognitive abilities with a pre-established protocol, and finally, the android is conditioned and sent out throughout the country. Here's the result. Say something.
Hello, I am a RZ400 model. How can I be of service?
You can go now. Our androids are already replacing humans in many fields. For example, they represent more than 80% of all university professors and 63% of all medical staff. Tomorrow they'll replace our soldiers, and who knows, maybe one day, our leaders, to make the best decisions in humanity's interest. Come on.
Replacing humans with machines has led to record unemployment of 28%. What do you think about the situation?
Okay. The first steam engines also caused an increase in unemployment. But no one today would imagine turning back the clock. Artificial intelligence makes everyday lives easier. Nothing can stop progress. What's happening here is inevitable.
These days, more and more people choose to live with an android rather than another human being. Does this development worry you?
Everything's much easier with an android. They obey your orders without ever complaining. They can cook, discuss philosophy with you, have intimate relationships according to your desires. They never say no. Obviously, they are the perfect partner. Everyone deserves happiness. Why deprive yourself of so-called moral reasons when a machine can make you happy?
Many science fiction books tell the story of how machines become more intelligent than us and end up confronting us. Aren't you worried about that possibility?
I understand the irrational fears about artificial intelligence, but I assure you that will never happen with a CyberLife android. They're designed to obey humans. They're machines. They can't ever develop any sort of desires or form of consciousness.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely certain. You can trust me.
Wieso habe ich das Gefühl, dass er schon von schon von vornherein wusste, auch durch die Aussage, jedes meiner Programme hat einen Notausgang, dass es früher oder später dazu kommen wird. Und hier haben wir die ganzen Soundtracks. Werde ich es aus gegebenen Gründen erstmal überspringen. Magazine, welche haben wir denn nicht? Beziehungsweise wie viele haben wir nicht? Wir haben 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Magazine haben wir nicht gefunden. Schade. Und jetzt kommt noch der spannende, beziehungsweise der witzige Part. Wir müssten eigentlich alles, was wir freigeschaltet haben, freischalten können. Wenn ich nicht komplett falsch bin. Machen wir das mal. So, dann haben wir einmal jetzt Connor. Alter. Alter, das sieht so gut aus. Moment. Auch im Regen. Alter. Ich weiß echt nicht, was ich sagen soll. Besonders im Regen, das sieht so gut aus. Wir haben hier haben wir keinen Regen. Wassertropfen auch auf der Jacke. Alter. Ja, vollgekotzter Henk. Nein, ich will nicht Sikiki. Das passiert, wenn man zu schnell auf der Steuerungstaste bzw. auf der Shift-Taste drückt. Da sieht es gut aus. Okay, wir müssen erst alle kaufen. Yep. So. Es wird einen kurzen Moment dauern. Weil ich glaube, wir dürften so um die 90 bis 100 Charaktere freigeschaltet haben. Nein. Dich will ich noch nicht anschauen. Dich auch noch nicht. Tschüss. Sorry für den Schnitt eben, aber ich bin gerade aus Versehen auf meine Makro gekommen, um die Aufnahme zu unterbrechen. Sorry. Sumo! Auf den Bär bin ich auch mal mega gespannt. Nein. Nein. Ah. Ich hoffe wirklich, dass wir alle freischalten können. Für die Musik werden wir nicht genug haben. Da muss ich eventuell, wenn ich das machen will, nochmal die Storys halt anders zu spielen. Heißt zum Beispiel auch mit Marcus gewaltsam vorgehen. Und es hat gerade so gereicht, oh mein Gott. So, dann gehen wir mal bei Kara los. Das sieht halt wirklich so verdammt gut alles aus. Ach du Scheiße. Oh, liebe Alice. Bei Zlatko. Ach, mein lieber Lufa. Rose ist auch. Und vor allem, wie realistisch die aussehen. Wenn man auch mal nach den Schauspielern schaut, oder man hat sie auch vor dem Video gesehen und da auch dann face to face, die sehen halt wirklich nahezu identisch aus zu den Schauspielern, bis auf kleine unterschiedliche Merkmale. Oh, Carl. Ah. North, unsere liebe Freundin. Simon, beziehungsweise Simon. Marsch. Die Frau kann ich nicht ausstehen. Von Kamski weiß ich ehrlich gesagt nicht, was ich halten soll. Und auch die liebe Bryan. Und unsere Chloe. Daniel. Captain Allen. Ah, der Besitzer der Bar. Ach, Miller war immer so ein netter Freund. Reed kann weg. Perkins kann weg. Das ist ein bisschen ungünstig gemacht, liebe Entwickler, dass man hier nicht nach oben und unten scrollen kann. Oder kann man? Nein. Petra. Ah, das war der Typ, okay. Und Sumo! Ah. Ah. Du bist ein ganz lieber. Ein ganz lieber bist du. Hallo Tracy. Hallo Tracy? Stimmt, die war auch in Jericho. Ripper. Ah, unser Freund. Und Ralph, ich frag mich, was aus ihm geworden ist. Zlatko. Und auf dem bin ich jetzt mal echt. Boah. Alter, was hat Zlatko mit dem bitte gemacht? Ah, und Jerry. Mhm. Die meisten davon kommen mir sogar nicht mal bekannt vor. Beziehungsweise sind irgendwelche kleinen Nebencharaktere. Leo, geh weg. Ich mag keine. So, und da würde mich jetzt mal interessieren. Man kann leider nicht oben reinschauen. Aber ich bin echt... Ja. Ja, ich bin echt gespannt. Ich frage mich echt, wie sie so lange überlebt hat. Nachrichtensprecherin. Die sind relativ uninteressant, finde ich. Charles Douglas. Wort. Ja gut, die Officers. Security. Also das ist echt mega interessant, wie viel... Lufa? Da haben wir doch Löwwärmer in seinen Arbeitsklamotten. Und eine männliche Tracy. Ich bin aber echt überrascht, wie viel Zusatz es hier gibt. Alter. Was hat der mit denen bitte gemacht? Ach du Scheiße. Ach du dicke Neune. Also ich bin echt überrascht, wie viel Inhalt die hier haben. Noch extra und... Boah, das sieht doch einfach alles so gut aus. Und eine Taube. Nice. Aber ich würde sagen, das war's nun jetzt wirklich mit Detroit Become Human. Ich hoffe, es hat euch genauso viel Spaß gemacht wie mir. Auch jetzt die Extras anzuschauen und auch die Videos. Ich fand's sehr interessant. Und wir sehen uns im nächsten Let's Play. Bis dahin, ciao, ciao!
It's a little bit crazy. You're suddenly blurry now. I wonder if anything was real. All our history's hazy, like driving in the pouring rain. Are we in too deep to heal? You're sorry, we'll make up tomorrow. Tell me everything you know I wanna hear. I'm trying to be open, but that window is closing. And either way, I need to make it clear before we're leaving here.
There's something left to hold on to. We can work it through, you don't have to go. There's a future here with me. We'll find the light in a clouded room. Not giving up until you know.
You're sorry, we'll make up tomorrow. Tell me everything you know I wanna hear. I'm trying to be honest.